Queens, Sam here. I hope that you're doing amazing. In my video today, I want to share with you a few financial mistakes that I've made. And yes, I am a financial coach. I do coach Black women in terms of them getting better with their investing and building wealth, but I'm also a human. And the reason I wanted to do this video, it's mainly because I want you to feel comfortable and also forgive yourself for any financial mistakes you may have made in the past. The past is the past, is behind us. What's important today is the present so you can build the future that you want for you. And so I wanted to share with you because yes, I'm a financial coach, but I swear to God, when I'm done with sharing with you those financial mistakes, you'll be scratching your head and just wondering how come this woman, with all of the financial mistakes that she has made, she was still able to amass, how much that she has amassed and being so comfortable financially. And so, uh, be ready. The first thing is when I got credit cards at first, and I already shared that in a video that I'm gonna link somewhere here. I was only paying minimum because that's what the guy told me when I was at the bank, when I was getting the credit card for the first time and just asking questions how was I needed to manage this. He was just like, when you get your statement, look at how much you have to pay in the minimum payment box, and that's what you pay. And so I thought, by paying that, will be done eventually with the credit card. But come to find out after a couple of years that the balance was not decreasing but was increasing. And I was able at one point to essentially inform myself better, educate myself better, understand better how credit cards work. And from there on, I never missed any credit card payment. I've paid my balance every month for years and years and years. That's just the way I roll. But that was a financial mistakes. I lost quite a bit, in interest at the time. And so now I know better. The second thing was at one point I was really into real estate investment. I'm still into real estate investment, but I really wanted to get into the whole assignment process, and I decided to actually sign up for a course offered by Real Estate Guru, and that was $20,000. That course was $20,000. Put my money together and essentially went into doing that course, and went through the modules, essentially learning about assignments, got into the whole practical aspect of it, but in a nutshell, long story short, I was never able to get a decent assignment deal. I never made any money from that course. So that 20,000 was a loss. I'm not even gonna look into the opportunity cost because I could have invested that money and that would have been, I'm pretty sure to the hundred of $1,000 today. But that was a mistake. Looking back, I shouldn't have done that. But at the time, I was very curious about how do I get into the whole assignment for real estate investment. And so I thought that was a way for me to actually learn about it. Now I know better. The third financial mistake that I've made is mainly in regard to my mortgage. So I'm a variable rate girl. I've always had variable rate since I've gotten my house, my property, and everything. And so, but if you remember, right after COVID, the rate started increasing. And at the time, I should have, kind of like look at my mortgage and be like, okay, it started to increase. Maybe I should switch to a fixed rate. And a lot of people were doing that. I was hearing of a lot of people doing it. But listen, I was just like, I'm hardcore variable rate. I'm just gonna hold on to it, and thinking that essentially the rate eventually will start going down. And by the time I realized my rate was way up there, very high, like almost triple what I actually had during COVID. And so the majority of my payments was going into interest and not so much my principal. So that's a huge loss when you think about it, because the whole how much I've lost in terms of paying down my principal, and it's like priceless, right? So that's gonna make me essentially pay my mortgage. It's gonna take me longer to pay my mortgage than what it should have been had I switched to fixed rate mortgage at the time when so many people were doing it. And I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna follow the herd. I'm gonna hold on to my variable rate. Mistake. That was a huge mistake. Okay, so on to the fourth financial mistake that I can think of to share with you today was when I left my one of my employers. I had a very small amount in like a pension plan. So that was a defined contribution pension plan. Well, it was for me at the time, I was like, it was a small amount. It was like less than $10,000. So I had a choice either to cash the money and then pay taxes on it, or essentially let that money ride. And though I already started investing at the time, I was like, oh, this is such a small money. I'm just going to cash it. And essentially, I can't even tell you what I did with that money today. So that's a big regret that I have today because that money would have been like hundreds of $1,000s toward my pension. That's just, when I say pension, essentially my retirement money. Because I didn't really need that money. I didn't feel like at the time I needed that money, but because I felt like it was a small amount, I felt like that wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But when you think about compound interest, it is a big deal, essentially. So that's definitely something that I do regret. And if I had to do it again, I would have just let that money into the plan and essentially let it ride until my retirement years for me to actually use it because again I did not need it at the time. The fifth and final mistake that I've made, maybe not the fifth, the second to last, is essentially investing based on social media. Yes, you heard it. I did this not once, not twice, many times. Listening to people on social media talking about a certain stock, a certain instrument, and I'm like, oh, they seem to know what they're talking about, and all of those things, rah rah rah. I'll put my money into it. Then that thing start going down, and I'm still hoping that's gonna come back because essentially the market is like that. It is like that for sound investment. It's not like that for investment you don't understand about because then I didn't have any markers. I'm like, okay, so then I didn't know that much about this particular investment. That person was roaring about the investment has gone like dark on social media. So I'm just like, what do I do with this thing now? So I've done that, more than a few times and learned my lesson, but I've lost so much money. Honestly, I don't even mind sharing. I've lost close, probably over $100,000 when it comes to investing. And I say that so then I'm hoping by saying that and being so open in sharing that, I'm putting you at ease. First of all, if you haven't started investing and you have a fear of losing, use me as essentially your example. Yes, you probably will lose or may lose some money, but at the same time also there are things that I did not understand back then that I understand now. First of all, you don't invest in things you don't understand, and that was a huge mistake of me, just listening to those people that I did not know anything about, but just because my social media was serving their videos and their posts to me, I thought that they knew what they were talking about, and a lot of them, actually if not all of them, know nothing about what they're talking about. So essentially today I have streamlined my portfolio. All of the investment that I have in there, if it's except the ETFs that I have, but like if it's like the single stocks, I'm very familiar with the company, the industry, the management of the company, where they're going, those type of things, because I'm just more familiar with them, and I'm very comfortable with my portfolio right now. And so that was a huge mistake of me. I had no business listening to those people and investing based on what they were recommending. So that's why I don't even recommend any investment to my clients. When sometimes they will ask me, what do you have in your portfolio? I'll tell them I don't mind sharing. However, my portfolio is based on my own investment strategy and my long-term financial goals, which probably is different from for you. You need to do that exercise. That homework needs to be done by you first before you start actually investing, because I get people, they're so eager and start investing and everything because so and so has put their money in this company, or like they're saying, so many people buying this particular good or this particular service, so they think that the company is gonna go to the moon. Investing is not like that. It takes a bit of work, right? So again, be comfortable losing a little. However, there are things that you can do to not, lose a big chunk like I lost. And then the last mistake that I've made with my money is to let other people tell me what to do with my money. And that to me is huge. And that's one thing that we're going to be talking about at the Wealthy Black Women Summit this year, where it comes to letting family impose on our money, letting community impose on our money, letting other people tell us how we should be using our money, whether it is to help them, whether it is to put it here. That should not be the case. And as the oldest daughter, as the actually, the oldest child of my family, at least, among my siblings, I have had, I've let people impose on my money. And luckily, I woke up not too late in my life, I hope, to be able to take control back and be like, no, sorry, this doesn't work. Essentially, I get, I'm the one working hard for this money, so I'm gonna be the one deciding what to do with this money. And if that doesn't work for you, then that's fine, right? So, but then again, it is a journey, right? And it does require quite a bit of work on yourself, even uh, through therapy, if you need to be able to get to that level. And so, if that's something, especially when it comes to money mindset, how to deal with that, with community and whatnot, if that's something that you really want to get better at, or like you have struggles with, you need to be at the Wealthy Black Women Summit this year. It's going to be on November 22nd. It's online, so you can literally attend from the comfort of your house or from wherever you are. It's going to be Black women expert in their field talking about different aspect of money, and the theme this year is wealth is resistance. And so we're going to be talking about those less talked topic. When we talk about, so a lot of time when we talk about money, people talk about saving, people talk about paying down debt, those type of things, but we don't hear much about the money mindset, how to thrive in a culture where sometimes money is really taboo. And that sometimes you people tell you, do this with your money, do this with your money, and it's really hard for you to resist because the pressure is a real thing, right? So grab your early bird ticket, or grab your ticket if you have missed the early bird ticket, because it doesn't matter how much you're gonna pay from this for this summit. I can tell you, each session of this summit will make your money worth it. So whether you get the early bird price or the last price, like the last price, the last day before the summit price, you will get your money worth it. So don't let anyone tell you how great this summit was. Grab your ticket, and I hope to see you there. Until next time, keep on building wealth. Bye.